Hello and welcome to the fifth of our Revit Starter series. And today we're going to have a look at connecting to the cloud from Revit. Okay. So before we get going, allow me to introduce myself for anyone who's new to the series. So I'm Matt Calloway, one of the application engineers here at Man & Machine. I'm a certified Autodesk trainer. I've been working with Man & Machine for just shy of 5 years now. And I've been working with Autodesk software for just short of 10 years. My primary range of software is the AEC collection, so Revit, Navisworks, InfraWorks, AutoCAD, all that sort of stuff. Those are the sort of applications I work with on a day-to-day basis. And prior to that, I worked in the IT industry. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, again, this is the fifth of our videos in this series. Do go onto the Man Machine YouTube channel where the other videos that we've already done are available for you to watch at any time. So let's jump straight into what we're going through today. So again, if you've seen the other videos, this is going to look slightly familiar. So it's the same model that we've kind of been working with from the beginning. And so far, we've been working with this locally. So when you start Revit, you start a project, you save a file on your computer. Maybe you're working in an office and you save it onto a server. And you can open that file so long as you're connected to your work network. And so long as it's only really yourself that's working on that file, and you're not needing multiple people to connect onto that file, work on the file at the same time from different locations around the country, around the world, or wherever. But there is limitations in that. So if you are going to be working remotely, which a lot of people are doing these days, you're going to need to have an IT system set up for remote working, usually using a VPN, and they tend to be slow and a bit laggy. But what we can do with Revit, and particularly if you've got the AEC collection license already, is we can use the Autodesk Construction Cloud to host our projects. And we're going to have a look at that this morning. So first of all, let's start right at the beginning. So saving files locally, yeah, we just go file, we can do a save as, save our project. And we pick a folder either on our computer directly or on our local computer network. Okay, and I could just go and give this a slightly different name to the name that we've already got here, and let's call this local save. Hit the save button, and that's just going to save on my computer there. No one else can access it because it's directly on my computer, but if I'd save that onto a server, then other people in my organizations could open up this project. However, only one person can be editing it at a time as a standard project. What we're going to do is we're going to go onto the Autodesk Construction Cloud. We're going to create a new project. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you are interested in the Autodesk Construction Cloud and the stuff we're going to go through today, we do already have a video on our YouTube channel called Docs 101, which is about an hour's long, and it's going to go through all the available features on Docs in a little bit more detail. So do check that video out. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go onto the internet. We're going to head over to acc.autodesk.com/projects. You just use your normal Autodesk account for accessing the Construction Cloud. So whatever you're signing into your software with, that's the account you want to be using to access the Construction Cloud. Once you're on the Construction Cloud, any projects that you've been given access to will appear on this page. As an account admin, I can also create new projects, and that's what we're going to do in this session. We can see here we have a Create Project button. We can also see the list of existing projects I have access to below. So I'm just going to hit that Create Project button, and we're going to set up a new project for today. So let's call this one Revit Live. Okay, this is going to be our Revit Live project. And we have a naming convention at Man & Machine, so I'm just going to stick in, let's go with 37,001, just for ordering our projects, and we'll give it a project number of the same here. Okay, and I'm going to add that to the Man & Machine account. And for the project type, let's just go with a demonstration project. There is other information we can fill out on here, but it's not mandatory. Only the ones with the little red asterisks are. So we'll just ignore the other settings for now. Hit the Create Project button, and that's going to generate a new project on the Man and Machine Hub, which we're going to be uploading our Revit project onto. And this should only take a few seconds. There we go. So that's now created that project. It's taken us straight into there. It might flick back to the home screen. We'll see what happens. Okay, so yep, that's created that project. If I was to go back onto the acc.autodesk.com/projects home screen, it would just appear in the list using the 37001 Revit Live name there. Now that we have this new project, as admin, I can add as many users onto here as I want to give access to. We can control the levels of access. I can add individual peoples, I can add organizations, I can set up roles to control what people can access, whether they have download rights, read-only rights, all that sort of stuff. But we're not going to go into that today, so do check out that Docs 101 video. I can see myself in the members list already. I'm already selected, and I can see my settings on the right-hand side over here. To start off with, I'm going to give myself access to Docs. And as mentioned, Docs, if you have an AC collection license, you've already got the license for Docs there. So I'm just going to enable Docs here. I'm just going to give the screen a quick refresh. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to access the Docs side of the construction cloud. So going up to the very top left-hand corner of the page, clicking on the drop down there, I can now see Docs in the list as a feature I can access. And at its simplest, Docs is just an online file storage system. It does quite a lot of stuff. You can see on the left-hand side, we can do reviews, transmittals, issues, reports. There is a few features here, which we won't be going into today, but at its simplest, it's going to be a file storage system. We can see a folder tree here, which is currently empty. So let's quickly add a subfolder into there. And for this example, maybe it's a work in progress folder where we can upload our Revit projects to, and we can be working on prior to sharing it with other teams in the organization or with different organizations. If I go into the 01 work in progress folder, again, I'm going to add another folder into here. We're going to look at a few ways of saving files onto here. So let's call this one 01. Let's just call it Docs Save. But you might split it down by discipline in your organization or something like that. Okay, so we now have a location on Docs where we can save our Revit project. The advantage of that is wherever you are in the world, so long as you've got access to Docs, you can come on here, you can open up the project, and you can start working away, saving to the cloud and working from the cloud. So let's just move this window out of the way for now. There's a few ways that you can save files onto Docs. I'm not going to go through all of them. The correct way is to do it from within Revit. You can drag and drop files onto the web page and it'll upload the project. And there's also something called the desktop connector, which we'll have a look at in a moment. But the correct way is to open up your project on your computer. And you can do this at any stage of the project. We're going to go File. I'm going to go to Save As. And in Save As, we have this Cloud Model button here. And this will allow us to save our projects onto any Docs project that we have access to. I'm going to click Cloud Model. And we should get a window pop up. It's going to ask us where we want to save that, which project we want to save it into, and which folder that we have access to that we want to save that to. So first of all, I'm going to switch the account that we're accessing on this screen to the Man and Machine Hub. I'm then going to change the project, and we should find in here our 37001 Revit Live project, which we've just created, and we've got access to the folder structure in there. Okay, we can give the project a name. So it remembers the name of the file that we've got open, because we've already done the save as and we've saved it as local save, which isn't the name that we want. Let's just call this one docs save, for example. Hit the save button, and that's now going to save that onto the cloud. Okay. Once it's saved onto the cloud, every time I save this project, it's going to save onto the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Doesn't matter where I am in the world, so long as I have an internet connection, I can open up Revit, I can open up that project, and I can work and save onto the cloud. And if you're one of these organizations that use VPNs, you've got your files saved locally on your server, but you've got people in different offices, maybe they're working from home and you're using VPNs, and this is going to be a much faster way of working, especially when you start setting up central models and work sets and all that sort of stuff there. The synchronizing can take a very long time through VPNs, and we'll take a look at that in a second. And as you can see, that's now saved. Okay, if I want to open up this project, let's close this and head back to the Revit home screen. On the Revit home screen, we can see that it's in my recent files screen there. We can see a little cloud icon to indicate that this is saved on the cloud. And on the left hand side here, we also have the option to switch to Autodesk Docs, which is going to change what we have on the home screen here. And if I select our new project, okay, I can open up any cloud project that I have access to directly on the home screen of Revit here. There we go. So that's our project there. And if I just click on that, okay, and on my slow internet connection, you can see that's opening up at a relatively decent speed there. Okay. So one of the other things we can do is we can install something called the Desktop Connector. It's an app that's free from Autodesk. And if I just get my taskbar back up on my computer, and we go to this little button down here in the right-hand corner, and we look at all the little apps that are running in the background down here, we should have the Autodesk Desktop Connector. It's just a little app that runs in the background. And what that allows us to do, again, if I can bring up my taskbar here, if I just open up a folder on my computer, we can see that we're just on this PC here. We have our quick access bar down the left-hand side here. It adds a little shortcut, a folder for Autodesk Docs. And on here, we can access Docs as though it's a folder structure that's on my computer. I can open up the Man Machine Hub. I can access the project that we've just created. If I can find that, let's just hit the F5 button to refresh the screen there, which I don't think helped. Okay, it's one of those live demonstration things. My internet connection must be running a little slow, and this must be a little bit laggy, but the project should show up in there. And just in case we had any hiccups, I did create a backup project here for using, but we can then navigate through the folder structure, slightly different to the one that we've just used there, and we can access the project here as well. So that's the Desktop Connector, and it kind of allows you to access all your Docs projects as though they're in a folder structure, like if they're on your local computer or local server. I just bring the Docs window back across. We can see now in our Docs save folder, the Docs saved file that we've just created. Okay, we can see we have versions here, and every time I'd save that, it would update the version. And we'll go into versions in a little bit more detail if we have time. I can click the file directly in Docs, and I can view the file. So I don't need Revit to view this file, only Revit to modify and edit it. But I can access this directly through the web page on Docs and start looking at the model here. Okay. Again, I won't go into too much detail on the Docs side of stuff. So let's have a look at saving a collaborative project. If you're using Revit already, you might be aware that you can run it as a single file, and one person can access Revit at one time and make changes in there. If you need 2 people or more to be working on a particular project, you're going to want to set it up for work sharing. Okay, So let's add another folder into Docs here. Call it 02 work sharing. Okay, and we'll have a look at setting that up. Now, Docs out the box supports Revit files and working with single Revit files. If you want to use work sharing, you need an add-on called Collab Pro or Collaborative Pro. So again, if I have a look at my members list where I gave myself permission for Docs. Okay, and there I am with my access to Docs. If I want to have a project set up on the construction cloud where multiple people can be accessing it and working on the same file at the same time from multiple locations, we have to turn on this model coordination. So if you take out Collaborative Pro, you get access to design collaboration, which we won't go into today, and you also get access to model collaboration as well. So I'm just going to turn those two features on for myself. And again, if we go back to files, not much is going to look to change. We do get access now to design collaboration and model coordination in addition to Docs, but we're not interested in those today. But I can now set up collaborative projects on Docs. So again, let's move this out of the way. Let's close that particular project and let's kind of start from the beginning again. So let's open up a locally saved project. And I guess we can go with that one there. So this is our locally saved project. But we want it to be saved on Docs and we want it to be collaborative at the same time. So multiple people can be working on the same project file at the same time from different locations. For this, we go to the Collaborate tab and we hit the Collaborate button. Okay, and it's going to ask us how we want to save this file. Okay, we can save within our network. So if you've got a server somewhere within your organization, you can set up your project to be collaborative on your local network. If you've got people that are not in the same location, so they're working remotely from different offices, they're working from home, synchronizing your Revit models can be a little bit slow. If we stick it in the cloud, then anyone can access it from anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to select in the cloud, click the OK button, and again, we're going to get this window that opens that's going to ask us to pick a project and pick a folder we want to save that into. So again, I'm going to switch the account. I'm going to switch projects. I'm going to navigate to that second folder that we've just created there. Okay, and again, let's give it a more sensible name. So let's call this Collab Project. Hit the save button, and this one will take slightly longer for it to upload onto Docs, not too much longer, because as well as saving onto the cloud, it's also turning on the work sharing feature of this project. Again, we'll just give that a few seconds to run through there. Okay, that's just finishing off. Saving to the cloud is also, or hosting your work sharing projects on the cloud is also slightly cleaner, in my opinion, than if you save it to your local network. If you host it on your own network, if you've ever done it before, you'll know that you get your central file and you also get a whole host of support files that come along with it. If you save it onto Docs, it's much cleaner. If I just bring our web page back across and we go into our work sharing folder, we should see our Collab project there, but we don't have all the support files. Okay, you don't need to worry about those. It's just going to behave as a single file for you to worry about. Okay, so let's move that back out of the way. So we've set up our work sharing project, and just like any work sharing project, we can start creating work sets dividing the model up into how different people will need to work on it at the same time. But again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that side of things there. Now, when it comes to saving any changes that you make to your project, maybe we move this door, for example. I've just nudged that up ever so slightly. And I do Control S, or go File and Save, or hit the floppy disk icon. This is going to save back to the cloud. Okay. Now, actually, let's just make something a bit more dramatic. We'll delete the door. Okay. There's now no way in or out, but we'll worry about that later. Maybe we can raise that as an issue. So I've saved this to the cloud with that change. Now, if I open up that cloud project, and I haven't synchronized yet, let's just hit the synchronize button there as well. Just hit the OK button. Okay, that's just uploading the changes. So again, just like with central models, you also have a local save as well. But again, that's just stored somewhere on your computer that you don't need to worry about. Okay, it does create a local file if you ever need it for backups, but again, we don't need to worry about that. So those changes are saved onto the cloud. If I just go back onto our web page, okay, we can see that we can still see that door there. Even after all that, if I go back in, we're not going to see the changes that we've made. Okay. Looking at the file, we can still see the version is version 2. Okay, with work sharing models, it always starts at version 2. So looking on here, it would appear that nothing's actually changed. And that's because if you've got 20 people working on a particular project, or 5 or a team of people, and they're constantly saving and synchronizing their changes throughout the day, you don't want this version number to shoot up every time somebody synchronizes. So we can control the versions and what we can see on docs. If we go back into Revit, okay, we have our publish settings here. On here, we can choose what views are attached to the model on the cloud to be visible. Okay, at present, we're just going to see the 3D view on the cloud. But maybe as well as the 3D view, we also want to publish the furniture plan, the room plan, and maybe the windows and doors plan as well. Okay, so I'm going to select those. Okay, and let's save and close that. Do we need to create a new one? Let's create a new set 2. Okay, so set 2. Let's just add those onto there. Save and close. Okay, so we now have a new set of views that we want to publish along with this this project. I go to manage my cloud models, and there's a few ways you can do this, but I'll just show you this one for today. We can choose which models we want to publish the latest version to on docs. We can see our 37001 Revit Live. And if I select that, okay, and we can see that that's processing, that one's processing there, so that's publishing the latest. There is a refresh button there that you can always press. Okay, and what we should find, if that's gone through already, we'll refresh the page here. At some point, that's going to change to version 3 now that we've published that. And when we go into the project, we'll see the latest changes. And that might still be thinking about it. Okay, so it looks like that might have just done there. So let's go back onto docs. Again, I'll just give it a quick refresh. Okay, so it's running a little bit slower than what I want it to do this morning. We do only have about 5 minutes left, but that would update the model with the latest changes, and it would go to version 3. One last thing I wanted to show you, which we'll very quickly squeeze in before we finish off for the day, is also looking at issues. Okay, so we've saved our project onto docs, onto the Autodesk Construction Cloud. and somebody's come onto the construction cloud that has access, and they're going to have a look at this model. Maybe we create a few issues that we need to fix within Revit. Okay, we're not going to bother running any clash detections and stuff like that, which we can do with the Collaborate Pro. We're just going to manually create some issues. I'm going to come to the right-hand side of this 3D viewer, and let's have a look. Let's go with a building code issue. And I should be able to pick a point. We know this is a stairwell here, so maybe there needs to be a fire exit on this point. I'm just going to select that point there and create an issue. We can give it a title. We'll just simply call this fire door. The status is open. We'll add a description. Needs a fire door here. We can assign it to somebody. I'm going to assign it to myself, and I'm just going to leave it as that. Okay, there is a bunch of other information we can fill out, but we'll just leave it as that for now. We can go through this model and we can add as many notes and issues onto here as we like, and they're getting saved onto Docs. Now, if we go back to Revit, again, another free plugin from Autodesk is the Issues plugin. Okay. If I select Manage Issues, it's going to open up the Issues window, which is currently empty. If I just press the Reload button here, we can download any issues that's been highlighted within Docs that's assigned to myself. Okay. So that's just coming through now. It will just take a second, and we can see the issue that we've just created is in the list here. I can select that and access all the information that I've added on Docs. I get a little pin on the model so I can see where that issue is related to. I need to add a fire door onto there. I'm just going to select a single door and just place that on the model roughly at the bottom of the stairwell. I fixed that issue now. So I can come to the issue in the issues window. I can change the status. Let's put that as in review. Somebody needs to double check it. And I can add any comments I need to add on there. So I'm just going to put added single door. Okay. Hit the submit button, and that's going to upload the changes that I've made to that issue back onto Docs. Okay, and then somebody can review that and either close that issue or add additional notes onto there. So that kind of covers most of what I wanted to run through today. So we're looking at Revit in the cloud there. So using Autodesk Docs, we can save single projects. We can just use it simply as an online storage space. So if it's just yourself or just one person that's kind of accessing the project at any time, and you've got an AEC license, you can set up a Docs project and just simply use it as an online storage space where you can access your projects. It's going to be backed up, it's secure, you can go back to previous versions and all that sort of stuff. So it's a nice place for storing projects online that's secure. If you add Collaborate Pro into the mix, you can also set up and add your work shared projects onto there as well. So if you've got a team of people, more than one person is going to be working on a project at any time, and they're in different locations, you're not all in the same office, or you want that ability to access a project from anywhere, using the Collaborate Pro, you can add your work shared models onto there. Again, there's a whole host of other features that you get along with Docs, so do check out the Docs 101 video on our YouTube channel. And again, with the Collaborate and Collaborate Pro, there's a whole host of features on there, such as the automatic clash detection, which you're going to want to check out if you're looking at adding Collaborate Pro into the mix. So that kind of covers everything we need to get through today. That's the end of session 5, looking at Revit in the cloud. Do sign up for session number 6. We're going to have a look at rendering in Revit. So we're going to use a plugin called Enscape. Okay, so again, you can see the little tab on the top of Revit here. It just plugs into Revit, and we can do all sorts of visualizations with our project. So that's session number 6. Just jump onto the Man Machine website and sign up for session 6 if you haven't done so already. Once again, Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time. Goodbye.